In this very short video, we're going to do a flyover approach to Greek verbs. There are no Greek forms or paradigms to memorize from this lecture or from this lesson, but what I'm attempting to do here is take what you're reading in the grammar and put it in even more basic terms. You're going to get more information from the grammar than you are from here. This is a way for me to summarize an overview for you what is presented in the grammar so that you're getting it in two different modes in a way that best supports your learning. So when we talk about Greek verbs, the very first thing to know, and one of the things that you'll hear repeated over and over in this class, is that Greek, unlike English, is a highly inflected language. That means it changes its forms both with respect to verbs and with respect to nouns. Those words will change their forms based on their grammatical function in a sentence. So they will have different endings for different verbs and different endings for different nouns, depending on what they are doing in a sentence. And so when it comes to verbs, the main thing to note about Greek being a highly inflected language at this point is that we're going to see different forms for the different persons, namely the first person, the second person, the third person. And for the number, that is the singular or the plural of that person. So I or we in the first person singular and plural, you or y'all in the second person singular or plural, and he, she, and it in the third person singular, or they in the third person plural. So this is the primary way at this point in this very first week of the class that you should be thinking of Greek as an inflected language with respect to its person and its number. But Greek is also going to change its verbal forms for a number of other things. Another part of Greek verbs is their tense. Tense refers to when or how an action happens. And there are a number of different tenses in Greek. The ones that are going to be most important for us in this class, the one you're going to see most often in the Greek New Testament, are the present, the future, the imperfect, the aorist, and the perfect. We'll also learn the pluperfect and we'll be introduced to the future perfect, but these first five are going to be the most important, and we will address them as we come to them week by week. The next part about Greek verbs is that Greek verbs have voice, and voice refers to how the action of the verb relates to the subject. The subject is the one acting, the main noun in the sentence. So in Greek, there are three different voices: the active, the middle, and the passive. The active voice is when the subject does the action. So for example, Aaron Rodgers throws the ball. Aaron Rodgers is the one doing the action. Throws. Throws is an active verb. A middle verb is when a subject acts for themselves in some way. So something like Aaron Rodgers hurls himself, where that hurls himself in Greek would be in the middle voice, which would have a different form from the active voice because the subject, Aaron Rodgers, is acting on themselves in some way. The passive voice is when the action of the verb is done to the main noun in the sentence. So for example, something like Aaron Rodgers is sacked by so-and-so. That is sacked would be in the passive form in Greek because the action of sacking is happening to Aaron Rodgers. And the last thing to note here about the sort of overview of what Greek verbs have is that Greek verbs also have mood. And mood refers to how the action is viewed. So we're going to be in the indicative mood for quite a while in this class. And the indicative mood is the action is viewed as real, as actually happening. That what is said in the verb, what is indicated in the verb has happened or will happen in the future. The imperative mood is the mood of command, where one tells someone else to do something. The subjunctive mood is the mood of possibility. The action of the verb may or may not happen in the future. And the infinitive mood is the pure idea of the verb, unconstrained by person and time. So if one wanted to refer to the idea of throwing, to throw, just is the most basic way to say throwing without limiting the action of throwing by who is doing it or by how many people are doing it. And then lastly, what I want to introduce here, and we're going to get, as the course of the semester progresses, we're going to be going much deeper into how Greek verbs are formed. But here I introduced very, very simply how a Greek verb is formed and the different parts of a Greek verb. So the most basic part of a Greek verb is going to be the stem of it. You can think of the verb stem as sort of the core to which other things are added. So a Greek verb stem is going to be added to, and these different things that are added to it are going to be the inflections. Remember, Greek is a highly inflected language, so those inflections are going to change what the verb indicates as far as person, number, tense, voice, and mood. So you're going to see after the stem a connecting vowel added with an ending. And then oftentimes before a Greek verb, and later in the semester particularly, we'll see that before the Greek verb stem, we'll often get a prefix indicating something about the tense of that verb. And so with the ending, in the ending is where we get the person and number of a Greek verb. So oftentimes, or usually in English, because English is not a highly inflected language, we use a personal pronoun to indicate the person and number of a verb. So in the example, we loosen, we is necessary to know who is doing the action of the verb. Whereas in Greek, we loosen is indicated in one word, lou omen. We'll look more closely at Greek verbs next week in these different parts. But if you see this omen here, the O is going to be or omicron that makes the O sound, is going to be the connecting vowel. And then the men is going to be the first person plural ending that indicates that we. So that Greek does not have to utilize a personal pronoun to suggest who is doing the action. It's all contained within the Greek verb itself.